In this week's The News, detained Kiwis show more spine than the coalition put together. Local election voting is going some way. Power reform coming one day, and a broken watch proves it can be right twice a day. All that and more on this week's The News. Hello there, kia ora, welcome to this week's The News. I'm Paul, and it's not true that I was once the Milky Bar kid. I just did what I did because who doesn't love a cowboy with free chocolate? 3 New Zealanders have been detained by the Israeli government this week after taking part in the Sumud flotilla to deliver aid to Gaza. Supporters have been demanding a response from the government, which included a nighttime protest outside the home of Foreign Affairs Minister Winston Peters, while media responses from the Prime Minister have focused on how there was a travel advisory in place for Gaza with little detail on any steps being taken to secure their safe return. Said the Prime Minister, seen here announcing $5 million for a roof on a tennis court while the strike action ramps up around the country from public servants due to lowball pay offers. Look, what I'm saying to you is it's a really complicated situation, and just like we did last week at the United Nations, we have every intention of one day doing the right thing. But in the short term, we're just going to leave things as they are. The Toitu Te Tiriti movement this week has said that they will no longer align themselves with Te Pāti Māori, citing a need for independence, a clash of values and leadership concerns. In response, Te Pāti Māori leadership has promised a reset and support the movement's independence. And because of a lack of fireworks, right-wing mainstream media were forced to question the Labour leader, who seemingly fell for their line of questioning and used that to create drama for headlines. Instead of pointing out the comment that he was open to working with Te Pāti Māori, or asking why the coalition is so desperate for attention it's literally putting up a like-for-like post on Facebook. In local body election news, everything is both amazing and terrible, depending on who you ask. As polls close soon and nerves begin to increase, data on Friday showed a consistent increase on past years of voting turnout, driven by a longer voting period and a contentious referendum on Māori wards. Early indications are that more young people seem to be voting this time round, which seems to have rattled right-wing media, who on Friday were running stories about deciding on calling local democracy a failure, in much the same way that central government has decided that the way to win a general election is to stop people from voting. Polls close on Saturday, October the 11th at midday, with the first results due around 7 p.m. For those using snail mail to vote, your ballot needs to be in what archaeologists call a letterbox by Tuesday to ensure that they are received in time to be counted. The finance and energy ministers, seen here impersonating a Seattle pop folk duo on the tour, this week announced what they have touted as surgical but significant changes to the energy sector, which included one day allowing more imported gas, one day helping more energy projects get funded, and asking the energy sector if they had any ideas on what to do, and what critics are calling the political equivalent of a pizza dinner to butter up staff that ultimately means nothing. Said the chair of the Auckland Business Forum, Simon Bridges, seen here crossing his fingers for a Labour win at the next election to help rebuild the economy, this is a missed opportunity. Imagine how much funnier the announcement would have been if I was still the party leader. Prime Minister Christopher Luxon, seen here deciding if poor people should live or die by popular vote Colosseum style, reached out with his hat in hand asking for help from Labour by asking them to pretty please pinky promise not to reverse the coalition government's lifting on oil and gas exploration in areas where no new deposits have been found in 2 decades, before leaking the letter to media in an effort to force Hipkins' hand on the issue. In response, Hipkins said, "It's always nice when the Prime Minister starts a letter with, 'when you win next year.'" It was confirmed this week that 3 officials had received a gift of illegal firearms from FBI Director Kash Patel, seen here realizing that there's a difference between the Epstein and Earhart files and he can't remember which one his boss told him to release, on his recent visit to the country to open an FBI office. The 3D printed replicas were deemed to be illegal because they could be modified to become functional. Said a spokesperson for the New Zealand FBI office, "We understand the reticence of the New Zealand government to accept these most American of gifts, and in hindsight we could have planned this better. However, we understand the officials have handed over the firearms to Minister for Guns Nicole McKee to bury in her backyard until she repeals the laws that make them illegal." Justice Minister Paul Goldsmith, seen here shocked to be discovering he's also the Minister for Arts and Heritage, has warned that the government is preparing to remove tikanga Māori from court rulings, citing a need for international consistency to appeal to potential overseas investors. At a Law Association meeting, Goldsmith said, "I am worried about the extent to which we're going down this bespoke New Zealand view of the world that are hard to understand. And we all know that removing treaty partnership ideas is the best way to sell off everything to foreign buyers, since that pesky document is what's stopping that from happening right now." And finally, Auckland Mayor Wayne Brown, seen here responding to requests to show up at Meet the Candidate events this local election, has told a ratepayer AstroTurf group set up by the Taxpayers Union to fuck off in a fiery text message. The group has been pushing for the mayor to sign their unworkable Taxpayers Union pledge along with other local election candidates. The TPU proxies claimed this signals more rates increases are on the way, while budgets for next financial year have not yet been set, and the organisation was actually one of the lobby groups which argued for removing Auckland's regional fuel tax, which was a significant factor in recent rates increases after partially funded projects still needed to be completed. Said a spokesperson for Wayne Brown's campaign, after receiving over 1,500 emails from the Taxpayer Union, costing ratepayers who knows how much in wasted time for the mayor and staff, the mayor wished to be very unambiguous in his statements. And this is very unambiguous. Right, and that's it for this week's news. Thanks again for all the support this week. You are absolutely amazing. Now, live long, prosper, be one with the force, and until next time, make sure you get your vote in for the local body elections if you haven't done so already. Hey, thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. While you're here, why not hit that like button or share the video or even subscribe to the channel. You could even become a paid YouTube member so you can see things released in advance, you get access to some exclusive content, and like all these awesome people, you get to have your name at the end of the credits as well.